You are now listening to Shotgun Sports USA. I'm your host, Justin Barker, and I talk to shotgun shooters from all disciplines, championship-winning coaches, gun clubs, world-class target setters, vendors, and industry-leading companies that fuel the sport. If you're into clay target sports, you are at the right place for insider information from some of the best in the world every single week. Check us out on shotgunsportsusa.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Shotgun Sports USA is powered by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Also brought to you by Ultimate Shooting Accessories, Rick Hemingway's Promatic Trap Sales, Sound Gear and Sound Gear Phantom, Comp and Choke, Clay Shooter Supply, and Clay Target Vision. My guest on the show today is from Montana. He has been shooting competitively for 7 years and just won his first big blast at the age of 54. He's a super nice guy, a hard worker, and a great shot. Please welcome to the show, Rodney Disbrow. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I also have Zach Kingbaum on with us. I know you've shot with Zach a lot. It's one of your good friends, so welcome back, Zach.
Thank you. How's it going, Rodney?
It's going very good.
You driving?
Driving along. Made it to St. Louis so far.
All right, so Rodney was down here in Georgia, and he's headed back to Montana, right, Rodney?
Yes, headed back to Montana and then down to Tucson.
That's a long drive right there.
Quite a trip. I got some things to take care of in Montana, and then that'll be done, and then I can go back to shooting.
So how far is it from Georgia to Montana on it driving?
Driving, it's about 28 hours.
And then how far is it from Montana to Arizona?
I think that's about 14 hours.
That's just a short one.
That's a one-dayer there.
Rodney, there's a lot of people that don't know who you are, okay? For those that don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Montana, and I was raised hunting and fishing, so I've had a shotgun in my hand most of my life. And I shot sporting clays in the mid-'80s, back when they still had hand throwers and stuff. We used to travel around back east. I worked for a pheasant farm back there. And we'd travel around and shoot a little bit. And then I decided I wanted to start shooting some elk, so that's when I moved to Montana. And I joined, there was actually a club there in Bozeman, and I joined them when I first moved there. And they still had hand throwers there too, and I shot for probably 2 or 3 years there. And then I started doing a lot of guiding and the work, and it kind of took the place of that, and I just didn't do it for a while. And it was probably about 7 years ago I started shooting again. And of course they had the good traps by then. And so it was, July will be the start of my 6th year doing competition. And so I was shooting, and they offered to take me over to the one club, and they had a tournament, and I was hesitant about it, and then I decided to go, and I did hunter class, and I did good, won that day and everything, and was addicted to it right from there, and joined the NSCA right away, and been shooting ever since.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
So, I am 54 now.
54. Awesome.
Wow. All right. So the reason I got Rodney on, the main reason, is because he just left Georgia because he won the Gator Cup, 2022 Gator Cup. And correct me if I'm wrong when I say this. This is your first big win, right?
Yes.
All right. So he won the Gator Cup at 54 after he's been shooting 7 years. Now, that says something right there, Zach.
Definitely does. That's unheard of, really, in today's game. You have some young kids coming up, and they get to the top and win every now and then, but it doesn't happen with people in their 50s.
No,
not that I've seen in quite a while.
No, I mean you got you expect the young kids to do something like that. The the young eyes and you know what I mean? Just the younger kids are always the ones that's going to come up and do that. But you've got people like Rodney that's winning, and Bill McGuire's still winning. The older guys are still winning, but what's cool about Rodney is he's only been doing it for 7 years. So it's not like he's been doing it his whole life. And if you want to go back to when he was shooting hand-thrown traps back in the 80s, I mean, it's a big difference. It's not the same, you know?
No, definitely not the same. And, yeah, it's funny when you first start. When I first kind of started there, you know, and everything was kind of off the hip, you know, low gun and pull up and shoot, and, you know, you do pretty good. And then you start to learn about hole points and all that, and it's like your scores kind of drop down, and I almost had to kind of relearn how to shoot again, you know, with a high gun. And there's definitely a way to shoot the birds, that's for sure. It makes it easier. So, and then you have to go through that whole process, and then luckily, you know, I met Zach and Desi, and they've been a tremendous help on giving me a good start and a good foundation on how to do it.
Yeah. I went to Cherokee Rose the week before the Gator Cup, and I saw you out there helping. I mean, you was riding around, just you and Fred, moving things, hanging banners, doing all kinds of things to get the shoot ready. And then you win. Did you even have time to prepare for it, really?
I never really had time to prepare, but one thing I did do at night a lot, I mean, we were going out to dinner and stuff, and I kind of refused a few nights, and I walked the course with my dog, and I kind of came to the stations, and I did a lot of visualizing, and with the targets that they had already set there that the club was using. And then I kind of knew that Rick was there, and I've shot quite a few of Rick's birds. Luongo, I wasn't sure what he was going to throw, but with the stations, and you can't get too creative with them. There's not, you know, a ton of room. So, and I just did a lot of visualizing, and even working throughout the day, you know, we'd be driving by them and stuff, and I would kind of stop every now and then at one or two and take a look and kind of visualize a pair, and that was the only preparation that I really did.
So take me through the week. The week starts. I know you shot a prelim or two. You shot FTASC and 5-stand. I think you may have shot Super Sporting and, of course, the main. So how did you feel about the targets coming up to the main?
The targets were really good. I did all right in 5-stand. Had kind of a couple, one bad setup on that tower, and missed a couple more on the other one, and was shooting good there. Did really well in FTASC until I got to my last station. I just had a little hitch with my gun, and I let it get to me, and had one bad parkour. But other than that, I was doing really well and shooting good and seeing the birds real well. So that part was good. And the prelim, of course, we had that rain delay, and then we went out afterwards, and it just didn't feel. I actually kind of was ready not to shoot, and then we decided to shoot, and then I kind of went out, and I wasn't too into that too much, so I didn't do as well there. But the main, that's what I was really prepared for, and doing the visual and doing everything, and that's what I was really putting my mind to, was thinking about the main and what kind of birds those guys were going to throw. So that was kind of my main concern.
Yeah, I know when I saw, I think you shot the Rose course, which I considered to be the harder course first. Am I right when I say that? You shot Rose first?
Yes.
And I was looking through the scores, and I said, what happened to Rodney? He took off. Like, he left everybody in the dust. You know what I mean? It's like, gee whiz. Zach, you shot it. What did you think about it?
I didn't necessarily think it was that much harder than the other course, but I shot the other side the first day. But yeah, he was lead man that first day on what most people were considering the harder course. And I knew what Rodney was capable of. He's had some single events over the last couple years where he's bumping up there into the mid 90s and in good shape. hadn't quite put 2 days together like he did this past week, but I knew it was coming. Rodney's interesting. He, like you said, he's 54 years old, but if you're around him, he's a younger 54. He's in great shape. He's real active. And he can move. His quick twitch kind of reaction time is that of a younger person. His eyes are really good. He's very much a natural shot and very, very talented. So surprise to many, but those of us that have seen him shoot and have spent time with him, I knew it was coming.
So you shot a 189, tied Clint Hinton, went to the shoot off, and you look very, I mean, I wasn't there. I'd already left. You look very composed, calm in the video that I saw, but I'm sure you felt a little different than that. But straighted the shoot off.
Oh, he pounded him.
Yes.
He was pounding him.
Yeah. Oh, I was very ready for the shoot off, and because I kind of walked around at first, and then I'm like, shoot off, and then I just put my mind to it and just said, you're going to hit every bird, see the bird, and then shoot it. And that's exactly what I did when I got up there. I didn't think of anything else. Didn't hear the crowd or see the crowd. I was just into the 2 birds, and wound up hitting all 6 of them, and did good.
Tell me about the steps you took, Rodney, when you started shooting 7 years ago. Tell me what the first thing you did and how you've got to where you are so quickly.
Like I said, I had low gun and was just kind of a natural because of duck hunting and pheasants and everything, and I've done a lot of hunting, so I kind of started like that, and I was good at it, and it was quick shooting. There was no acquiring the bird or anything. It was just kind of pull up and shoot. And, I was shooting along pretty good. And then the one guy at the club there, Daryl Sheehan, he's a really good friend. And, they were talking about hole points and getting better. Because I kind of just got to a certain level, and I never really got much past that. Some days I'd shoot better than others, and it was just from pulling up and shooting. So I kind of knew that I had to do something different. And the first year, that's when I met Zach. I went to the Gator Cup, and that's why I went. I said, I got to see what the real birds are and what these guys are doing, and see why they are pros. And then when I went there and kind of seen the birds, I seen, shot at birds I've never seen before. And it was just like, oh my God, I got to change something. And so I started listening to everybody at the club, and hole points, and looking at the birds. That was another big one, looking at the birds and stuff. And then I started watching a lot of YouTube videos of virtually of all the top shooters. And so that kind of helped me in everything. And then when Zach came out, they did lessons that first year, and Desi and Zach went out with me and Jim Salbier, and went around with us and kind of got me straightened out and, started shooting. Although I didn't understand a lot of it at first, what he was talking about, the visual discipline and acquiring the bird and leads and stuff. And then you watch more videos and paid attention more and started shooting, and then I kind of relate what he said by the shooting. And then Zach, and when I went to a few more bigger shoots, just so I could see the more birds, and I would ask questions. Those Zach and Desi have been so good about helping me out with stuff and answering the questions. And then every year that they come out there, they'll both go around with usually me and Jim, and each year things get a little better and a little better. And now, like the last couple years, I've really understood what he's talking about, and then you just put it to work and try to refine it and get it the best you can. and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, I remember in 2019, you and Jim were in Chicago at the World English, and
Yes.
Jim he's works with Sitka Waterfowl, and I just assume you work for him too. So I said, what? These are two Sitka guys running around shooting sporting clays. I thought it was pretty cool, but you don't work for Sitka. You do other things. What do you do?
Yes.
What do you do when you're not shooting? What's your job?
Oh, when I'm not shooting, I'm an equipment operator, and I work for a guy, and I don't do much operating anymore. I mainly kind of run crews and do a lot of ground work, and we do a lot of infrastructure, so it's pretty important to get the pipe in right and everything, so I spend a lot of time on the ground now. And I let the younger guys kind of run the equipment and make sure that they're doing it right and help them out and give them more of the experience. So I do that, and then I guide. Last few years since I started shooting, my guiding has kind of went downhill, which is fine because I got to spend more time shooting. But and then I guided probably 3 or 4 months also throughout the years too. So, but yeah, equipment operator.
So you just guide elk hunts? That's it?
I did elk, antelope, and deer, and then I usually go to New York every spring during May, and I guide usually turkeys for the month of May.
Zach, have you been hunting with Rodney yet?
I haven't, but he's definitely tried to get me to come up to New York, which we're going to have to do now that we live on the East Coast now. I'm going to have to take him up on one of these Mays.
I would just never think of a turkey in New York. I don't know why. It just sounds weird to me.
Oh, there's lots of hunting in New York.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah, great hunting. Once you get up in the farm country, it's yeah. You mentioned New York. New York City is the city. You get 20 minutes outside the city, and it's all very rural, farmland, and all thick woods, just like down there in Georgia.
Are you going to get back into guiding elk? I know you still love to hunt, so are you going to get back into doing that, or are you just kind of giving it up?
No, I mean, I still hunt myself. I don't guide too much anymore. Just friends mainly, and I probably won't because the shooting has kind of taken over everything, and because you go all the way into the end of October, so that archery is September, early October and stuff, and then I'm kind of concentrating on the shooting. Yeah. And it's just, more fun right now to shoot. I've shot plenty of elk and guided plenty of people, and onto something new and better.
Yeah. You were talking about Zach and Desi helping you out with your shooting, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me, it's pleasant to hear someone explain things the way they do. And I agree. I mean, I've shot with them, and for them to be able to show you, I mean, they can literally show you what you need to be doing, not just tell you, but show you. I don't shoot a whole lot, but when I do shoot, I can remember the things they tell me. And I'm sure you're the same way with that.
Oh, tremendous amount. I mean, at first, I didn't really understand a lot of what they were talking about, but as you shoot and you actually put their methods to work and actually see it work, then you really understand it. And now, like, I'll listen to Zach talk to anybody, and and he'll be telling somebody how to do something and everything, and I'm always listening. Same with Desi too, and it's funny the things you'll pick up. It'll be like, he hasn't told me that before. And so I'm always listening, and I'll listen to anybody. I'm around Mike Wilgus a little bit too, and any of those guys talk, because like the Bretta, you hang out with Buzzy there, those guys all show up sooner or later there, and they're always talking about a bird here or there or what they're doing. And I'm usually sitting in the chair there, but I'm always listening and trying to learn different things, and because you can take a little bit of something from everybody, and I don't think one way is the right way. If you're from like a teacher's standpoint, I think you got to take a little bit away from everybody to make yourself what you are.
Yep.
It takes a little bit, yeah. You can't just use one thing. You see so many people trying to copy or emulate somebody, and some of the stuff you can, but some of it is just not for you.
Yeah.
So you got to be willing to try and listen and learn. And when you're out practicing, maybe try it. And if it seems to work, then you can incorporate it. If it don't, then yeah, move on.
Yeah, agree. There's two things that Zach has told me that I still remember every time I shoot, and that is quartering targets and rabbits. And I can remember him telling me exactly, let me show you what this is going to be doing. I want you to look over here. I want you to do this. And I still think about it every time I shoot one of those pairs. Now, I might not hit them all, but I'm thinking about it every time I go shoot one.
I'm pretty sure Justin told me yesterday that he missed a rabbit. So
well, I did, but the rabbit was 4 foot from me. I tried to hit it. I could have hit it with a gun.
Yeah, we had a couple of close rabbits there at the Gator Cup.
Yeah. But the way he explained the quartering targets and the rabbits to me made sense. Was what I was saying. And being your age, Rodney, did you think that you would be doing what you're doing now? I mean, do you have that kind of mindset? Like, I'm going to go beat all these guys. Is that the mindset you've got?
No, the mindset is I always plan on winning, and I'm not that I always do or anything, but I put my mind in that way that I can compete and I can shoot, with these guys, and that's just the way that I think, and I never let up. So be positive, I'm always positive about it, and there's still some birds that maybe give me a little bit of issue, but for the most part, I think if you got a good game plan, and like Zach says, keep your eye on the bird, and and get the right hole points and stuff, there's nothing that you can't hit. So it's just making everything and keeping your mind in focus, and controlling your fears and everything. So yeah, I always very positive and always think I can win.
I got a question for you, Zach. How can you have fun and be competitive? So I was thinking about this the other day, if you're really competitive and you're not shooting your best, how do you still have fun? Are you still having fun?
I think that it really depends on the person. If I'm out there having a bad round, I don't think I'm having that much fun.
Right.
But I enjoy being out there with my friends. I think now, at least in the past, I wasn't having fun. I can definitely take a step back now and just enjoy it more. But that's a tough question, Justin. I don't know. When it comes to Rodney, I think like what he just said of talking about keeping it fun, and I think one of his best attributes is he doesn't get down on himself. Even when he goes to a big shoot and he didn't perform as well as he wanted to, he's not walking around dejected. He's always smiling. He just takes it as a learning experience, and I think that's probably one of Rodney's best is staying positive.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. I mean, if you do have a bad day, I kind of look at it as why was it bad, and kind of think about it, and I don't really get mad about it or anything. I mean, you got to use it as a learning experience and try to fix what went wrong, and that's what I kind of do, and and it's fun. I mean, it's definitely fun. It's addicting for me. It's been highly addictive, and I think that's the big drive for me, is how addictive it is. For some reason, I don't know why, but I just love doing it. And even the bad days and the good days, I just take them all in. And on the good days, I try to remember what I did right, and on the bad days, figure out what I need to correct.
How often are you practicing? I mean, you driving 30 hours home, and then you're going to drive 15 hours to go shoot out west. I mean, when are you going to practice at all? Or do you just shoot like I do when you go to the tournaments?
No. I try to practice a little more. I mean, that was the one issue. I actually came down here a little early this year, and I probably have shot 900 to 1,000 rounds at Cherokee Rose before the shoot, and a couple of tournaments, and then just a couple of practice rounds. But living in Montana, I mean, our club usually shuts down into September, October, and then I wind up shooting a lot of skeet, but you're usually wearing a lot of clothes. It still keeps you shooting, but it doesn't really help you out a lot. Yeah, when I go back, it won't be open, but I'm going to try to go down and try to get to Tucson a few days early and shoot down there beforehand.
We discussed this, that Beretta has won every shoot since the season started, every big shoot.
Caribbean Cup, the Jack Links, the Seminole Cup, and Gator Cup. Those are definitely the 4 biggest shoots that the country's had this year.
And it's been Beretta at the top. Rodney, you shoot a Beretta.
Yeah, I do got a DT11, but I had a 682 gold that I was shooting for a while, but I've pretty much always have shot Beretta. Even back in the day when I was younger, I did shoot quite a bit of skeet, and I always shot Beretta back then too. I don't know why. It was just the gun I picked, and they've always felt good, and I've always shot them well.
I think it's funny talking about guns that Zach has. He has some of the nicest Berettas that you can get, and he still shoots the same DT11. I have yet to figure out why that is.
Yeah, I don't. I've got an SO5. I've got a prototype of the new SL2, which is an awesome gun. Both are. To be honest with you, for me, it's because of the dropout trigger. I can travel anywhere in the world and just take a spare trigger with me, and I know that anything happens with the gun, it's gonna be anything mechanical that's really gonna make the gun not work is gonna be in the trigger system, and that's not just Beretta. That's probably every gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a workhorse, and it's the first one when I got sponsored by them in 2014. It's the first gun they sent me, first gun I started shooting, and I've got I think over 150,000. I think it's 175,000 through that gun, and it's like putting on a worn-in pair of boots. It's like part of me. I just love it.
Ronnie, you shooting Winchester, right?
Yes, sir. Ounce and an eighth super handicap, and then I've kind of switched back. I've tried the 1 ounce, and they do fine too, but those super handicap ounce and an eighth are hard to beat. They definitely do the birds in pretty hard.
He would shoot. The only thing I've ever seen him shoot is either a AA or a Remington Nitro. He doesn't mess around with anything else, which is good.
Yeah, I think so. I call him the American Air Hammer.
There he is. Listen to him in the background, folks. He's barking again. There must not be anybody around. He's got a lab that's what's he, 9 years old, you said?
Yep, he is 9 years old.
It's funny. At Cherokee Rose, he would bark if there's about 5 people around, but when there's 500 people around, he just sat there.
1 or 2 people, yeah, he usually barks, but a whole crowd, he don't care about.
All right, so the Gator Cup's over. All right, I waited on this shoot I've been waiting on this the whole year. Okay, I love the Gator Cup, like the people, and then it moves to Cherokee Rose, which is even better because I go there all the time to shoot. Nice place. But the issue was the parking, right? We're going to have enough parking. Well, they did. They had plenty of parking. But the problem came with the rain, and it just turned it into a field that you couldn't really drive through. But I think that the shoot overall was perfect. I think that they handled the parking well, and I loved it. I'm assuming y'all felt the same way.
Yeah, I thought, to overcome that Georgia red clay is some stuff.
Yeah.
It gets wet. It turns. It's funny. You don't sink much, but you can't go nowhere in it.
Right.
And I mean, Fred. I think I there for a couple days. We never even seen him. He was over there pulling people out and trying to handle it and get trailers parked and stuff. But I think overall it worked out and they got everybody in. And,
well, part of Justin, let's be honest, you and Jeremy at Low Toyota were a big getting some vans over there to help shuttle people from the Plan B, C, D, and E
Yeah.
parking plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up working out good. I have some friends that used both the church and the school parking over the weekend, and they said it was a breeze. That's the kind of stuff you'll have to deal with anytime and you shoot a World Fee Task or something like that. You're always having to take shuttles a lot of different places. So
Yeah.
it wasn't different for some people. As far as weather, I mentioned it a few times this weekend to different people, but this is kind of the dice a lot of these clubs roll when they host these mega blasts, these big blasts. If they don't have enough parking, because there's a lot of clubs. If they got 4 to 5 inches of rain, their parking situations are going to turn into a disaster. There's a reason M&M out in front of Anthony's parents' house there at M&M in New Jersey. There's $500,000 of rock under that green grass that you see out there because of bringing in loads of rock for U.S. Open and past regionals and stuff. There's not a lot of clubs that have the infrastructure to park that many people in inclement weather. And I think that when people complain about going to the clubs for these regionals and these U.S. Opens, there's a reason for that, because those are the clubs that can handle stuff like that the best.
The rest of the tournament I thought it was fine. I mean, I actually really enjoyed the banquet. I thought it was the make or break shoot off and all that was really cool where it was held. There's
probably not a better venue for the social aspect than Cherokee Rose. I think that was incredible. The dinners, the award ceremony, just that area, kind of that amphitheater they've got there. It's beautiful. And the other thing that they did really, really well was that was probably the best vendor area at any shoot you will ever go to this side of San Antonio.
Yep.
I mean, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know how many vendors, I didn't count them, but they had them in a line, and it was like being in San Antonio. You walk straight down the line and you can go see everything you want to see. And it was the same way here, but it was on both sides of the road. So it was,
yeah.
And then it was on top also. That they had it's at the parking lot's tiered. So down at the bottom they had 2 rows of vendors, and up top they had some vendors as well. And it was all very late. It was laid out perfect. So and the course was good. The targets. I mean, I thought the targets were great.
Yeah, they were great targets. Demanding. I mean, every station kept you on your toes, and there was only like 1 or 2 there that the creek. I was happy to wind up on that new station they built that had the 2 trap keels that were right in front of you.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I was very happy to end up on those. So
I dropped 3 of those, Rodney. That was not easy.
You ended on it. I was thinking at first I had the modifieds in and I was going to really powder them, but then I'm all like, no. So I threw in all my open chokes and didn't miss any.
The station I keep talking about, the people listening that weren't there won't know what I'm talking about, but it was station 15 on the creek. There was 2 trap targets that were going straight out to the trees at 640 miles an hour. Y'all remember those?
Oh, that was on the Rose.
That was the Rose.
Yeah, that was Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, that was on the Rose course.
That was Mike Luongo's going to listen to this and he's going to get mad at me, but that was the one pair that station 15 on the Rose I thought was a little much. They're already out far, hard to see, and just a little too much pace on those birds. But Yeah, that was a brutal stand.
I dropped 5 out of 6. I know Rodney didn't because he only dropped 6 on the whole course. But
that was actually one of the ones that one and the one number 2 on Rose. Both of those I wound up clearing both of those stations. And those were the 2 hardest, I think. The one with Rabu.
Yep.
Going out of the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just a lot. That's just an angle that people don't shoot at. Rodney gets to shoot at Gallatin up there in Montana, so and Polson, so he's used to shooting under his feet. He probably feels at home with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
I want to know how you shot that Station 15.
I shot the first because the first bird was slower, the one to the left, and I tried to shoot that one as quick as I could. And then the other one was definitely down there and going downhill. And I was just in the right place every time. I just really looked at the bird hard and just got in the right spot every time.
Yeah.
So I didn't waste any time on either one of them. And because once you shoot the first one quick, the other bird was just right above you and then get connected to it. And I think a lot of the birds you had to get connected to quicker than you normally would, but you didn't want to go too quick. I think that was maybe some of the people's mistake. They were, trying to do it too fast.
Yeah, I tried it fast, slow, left, right. I tried every way I could think of. I couldn't have it. So there you go.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of speed on both courses. And that caught people out. I mean, I would tell you, I shoot everywhere, shoot every major shoot, and there were more full spring targets there than any shoot I can remember for the last few years. So I think it got people kind of speeding up, not seeing birds as well as they are used to or they have in the past. And then when they do get onto the slower birds, I know for myself, it just had me kind of out of my rhythm on how I would normally shoot those birds. If I had to shoot that stuff again, I would, after again talking to Rodney about it a lot on Sunday, just kind of stay aggressive. I would like to do it again and stay aggressive, but not at the detriment of not seeing the bird like I want to and speeding up too much.
Yeah.
They were tough. It was a big mix of a whole gamut of all the different angles and shots that we see at some of these majors. No, just because of the type of terrain in the woods where you are shooting, they are kind of limited on what they can throw. But what they did throw was really good, and it was definitely a good 200 birds.
Yes, it was. The creek course, the standout stands, in my opinion, were the trap teals. Okay, the ones we were talking about earlier. And then I really thought that the rabbit that was 8 miles away from me was pretty cool. It was down. It was down in the bottom.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
How far was that for real? 40 yards, 35 yards, 40.
I bet I'm thinking between 35 and 40.
Yeah. So they had a rabbit that was down below your feet at about 35 or 40 yards, and it wasn't fast. I mean, it was just moving. And then they had a batu that came as a report bird that was going Mach 4, and you had to get it out there before it hit the ground.
Yeah, kind of quarter down a little low below your feet to the right, kind of quartering out, and then it would turn into kind of deep quartering into crossing.
Yeah.
Good target.
Yeah, the whole thing was good. Fred Maria, the staff at Cherokee Rose, Dave and Gene, everybody was super polite, super helpful. Saw every one of them on the course every day. They even had Joe Finese trapping one of the stations, which was pretty cool. You don't really see that. You get reigning national champion.
How many events are you going to go to where the current national champion is trapping for you?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty neat. If people are probably wondering how does Rodney from Montana end up helping Cherokee Rose get ready for this event? But the shoot had it might be in Georgia, but it has a Montana feel. Finese's are very close to being permanent Montana residents. Double D and Gene have a home up there, not far out of Bozeman, not far from Gallatin, where Rodney shoots and helps set targets. So I think that's kind of, tell me if I'm wrong, Rodney, but that's kind of where you really got to know all of them is from shooting up in Montana in the summer times, right?
Yes. Yeah, especially Dave and Gene, because they actually are members of that club. And it's Jean's favorite place to shoot. Whenever they get an opportunity, they're there. And yeah, Double D loves shooting there too, and they never miss the Western Challenge. And they usually come out for another shoot or two too earlier in the spring. But yeah, that's where I basically met them, and yeah, just became good friends. And yeah, we always go down there for dinner when they come out and stuff. And so I came down a little early and decided to help out, try to get things, because it was the first time there at Cherokee Rose, and it worked out pretty good. We did a lot of work there. Yeah. Well, it was fun working with General Fred, I'll tell you. Man, we were all over the place working, digging holes and doing everything. So yeah, he's one fun person to work with and be around. Joe will say the opposite, but he was an all right guy.
Rodney, don't you think it'd make more sense if you moved down here to Georgia, where all the shooting goes on, instead of way up there in Montana? I think that the drive would be a whole lot better for you.
Well, the thought has definitely gone through my mind, and now that I went down there and basically have spent a month and a half down here, I'm really thinking about possibly relocating somewhere to the southeast, and so that I can shoot more, and then be closer to Zach. And that way, when I have any issues, I can just run over and get a good dinner and get some lessons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rodney came and spent a couple days with us at Forest City, and I cooked for him, and I think he's fallen in love with Georgia.
So you've been to Savannah, you've been to Sea Island, I guess you could say, over here at Seminole Cup. You've been you've been to Griffin. Where's your and everywhere in between? So far, where's your favorite part of Georgia?
I definitely like that Griffin area. It reminds me, where I lived in New York there, it really reminds me of that a lot. Has the hardwoods and trees and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know how the summers are going to be, but I think you won't be around much anyways. You'll be traveling around. So, yeah, I definitely are going to think hard about probably relocating.
Nice.
I agree. Personally, I think you have a summer place in Montana and a winter place in the South. That would be the dream.
Yeah, that would definitely work out good. I still got to get a little elk hunting in, so I still got to go back to Montana.
Oh, he's not going to leave Montana for all year. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I would leave Georgia for the summer. That's for sure.
Desi and I are the opposite of snowbirds. When it gets hot, we go north.
Right.
And when it gets
yeah, same way I'd be. Yeah. You can cook your whole breakfast on the hood of your truck, Rodney, if you want to. You don't even need a stove.
Well, I think I like the winter plan. I will definitely return next winter early and spend a lot more time down here.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's going to happen. But the summers in Montana are absolutely beautiful. The weather and everything is really, it gets hot there too, but at night it cools down really nice. So,
well, good. Maybe you'll get on down here to Georgia. That'll be good. We'll just have everybody move to Georgia.
All the good shooters.
All right, guys. Well, I know we had a good conversation. Glad we introduced Rodney to everybody. and you need to be looking out for him. He's the people's champion.
He is the.
That's right.
I think there's a lot of older guys getting into the game that can look at Rodney, look up to Rodney, and kind of use him as something to look at. That it is possible to get really good at this in as you get a little older. Rodney's shooting for Team USA veteran for next year. He'll be a vet next year. So I think these next few years are going to be very interesting.
Well, Rodney, thanks for coming on, man. I'll let you get back on the road. I know you got a ways to go before you get back home. And Zach, I appreciate you coming on and joining us. So,
all right. Thank you very much. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Zach.